أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا-الصراط-المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غيرil-maghdoobi عليهم ولا الضالين.
Today, we're going to dive into what might just be the most recited prayer on the entire planet, Surah Al-Fatiha. It's always blown my mind how these 7 short verses, often just called the opening, can pack in such a complete and powerful story. So, let's break that story down together.
Alright, so what does the opening really mean? Well, it's so much more than just chapter 1 of the Quran. Think of it more like a blueprint for the perfect conversation, a dialogue that unfolds in this really specific, really powerful way. So Al-Fatiha, that literally translates to the opening. And it's seen as the very essence of the Quran, all packed into a 7-verse prayer. It takes you on this complete journey, you know? It starts with acknowledging the divine, then moves to you making a core commitment, and finally, it all leads up to making one profound request.
Okay, let's get into it. Part 1 is all about the acknowledgement. Because before you can ask for anything, you got to know who you're talking to, right? So these first few verses, they paint this picture, not with some, abstract ideas, but with very clear, essential qualities.
And right out of the gate, what's the very first thing we hear? It's not a demand, it's not a list of grievances, it's an invocation. And think about that. Before anything else is said, the primary characteristic that's established is mercy. That one choice, man, it just sets the tone for the entire conversation that follows.
Then, from that very personal feeling of mercy, the camera lens just pulls way, way back. We zoom out from mercy to this idea of universal power. And listen to that wording, not the world, but the worlds, plural. This praise is for the one who sustains everything, all of existence. It's huge.
And then, did you catch that? We get a repeat. Right after establishing this immense, universe-spanning power, we're brought right back to mercy. It's a powerful reminder. It's like the prayer is saying, yeah, God is the sustainer of everything, but don't you forget the most important thing, the one worth stating twice, is that grace and mercy.
Okay, so we've got mercy, we've got this incredible power, and now a total shift in focus. Now we're talking about authority, accountability. This verse introduces the concept of ultimate justice, making it clear that there is a master of that final day of reckoning.
So let's just put it all together. In just 4 short verses, you get this incredibly comprehensive picture. The one being spoken to is defined by overwhelming mercy, by universal power, and by ultimate justice. This foundation is absolutely crucial for what's coming next.
So now that the stage is set, the prayer does something really amazing. It pivots. This is part 2, the covenant. The perspective shifts from describing God to addressing God directly and personally. This is where things get real.
And here it is. This verse is the absolute center, the beating heart of the entire prayer. The language changes from he to you. It's no longer a description, it's a direct conversation. It's a declaration and a plea, all rolled into one single, powerful statement.
So what's really happening here is this relationship is being defined. It's a 2-part covenant. First, there's a pledge of exclusive worship. And second, there's an admission of complete reliance. I mean, that's a moment of profound commitment and vulnerability, all at once. Having acknowledged who God is, and having made that personal covenant, the prayer now moves into its final act. This is part 3, the plea. This is the ultimate request, the very reason the whole prayer has been building up to this point.
Now what's interesting is, the request isn't for wealth or health or power, it's for guidance. And it's very specific. First comes the petition, show us the straight way. But, you might ask, what is that way? The prayer doesn't leave it ambiguous. It immediately gives us a clarification. And I just love how this path is defined by what it is, and just as importantly, by what it is not.
The straight way is the path of those who receive God's grace. Simple enough. And at the same time, it is not the path of those who earn divine wrath or those who just lose their way. It's guidance defined by both positive role models and cautionary tales.
So now, let's just take a step back and see the entire journey from start to finish. When you put all these pieces together, what you get is a complete narrative arc, a perfect story. Just look at that flow. It starts with praise and acknowledgement of God's mercy and power. It moves to that central pivot, that direct covenant of worship and reliance, and then it all concludes with a single focused plea for guidance onto a clearly defined path. It's a perfect, self-contained dialogue.
And that leaves us with one final thought. This prayer, recited for centuries, centers on a single powerful request: guidance to a straight way, a path that's defined by grace and one that avoids error. So the question it leaves us with is a personal one. What does that straight way mean to you?